live from Los Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning LaLa, and I'm Dr. Erin.
Hi, I'm Ron Mack.
And I'm Jess Moye. This is Good Morning LaLa, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Also available on Apple TV and Roku via the EverTalk app.
And it's hashtag Thought Thursday. We're going to talk about how to figure out what you really want in life, right?
Important.
We come together each morning to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, align with universal law, have a lot of fun, and absolutely no sunshine. Forget about it. It's not going to happen.
It is apparently Seattle, London, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
happening.
It is not LA, is it?
Well, it is a hashtag mood, but I'm so excited to welcome to the show our very special guests today, who are absolutely trailblazers. Good morning, everyone, back in the studio. Hello.
Good morning.
We're so grateful to have you with us today. Special thanks to More Labs, Morning Recovery, and Focus. Good morning, SISUN. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're grateful to have you here today. So tell us a little bit about the relaunch of More Labs.
A relaunch of our brand. Yeah, so we did that 3 months ago with the idea that, you know, when we began our journey, we had a single product called Morning Recovery. And one of the things that we realized is that the community behind our product was all about productivity. You know, our biggest demographics are people in their mid-30s and 40s, usually parents, working parents, who want to enjoy their night out, but most importantly, be able to bounce back the next morning, take care of their children, go to work. You know, they have all their morning routines. And what we could offer them was many things beyond just morning recovery as a single product. And so we really wanted to become a wellness brand that allowed us to build science-backed products that combat many, many different modern-day stressors, whether it's fatigue, dehydration, brain fog, sleep, stress,
Or a
really
hangover.
in order to expand, in order to really expand to that lifestyle. And so that was the inspiration behind the rebrand.
Here on Good Morning LaLa, we do like to know about your morning routine. How do you start your day? Of course, with some liquid focus, perhaps morning recovery, but what else do you do to really start your day off right?
Nowadays I'm getting into a routine. I wake up every day at 8 a.m. I hit the gym, shower, go straight to work. But the first year of my startup life has been all over. So finally getting into the routine. Yeah.
Wow, well, thank you so much for being with us. We're so excited to learn more about you later in the show. Inspiring with confidence and style. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning. How are you?
We're so grateful that you're here. Your story is so inspiring, and we can't wait to hear more later in the show. But first, we want to know, how do you start your day?
My routine is pretty consistent. I always start with not having my cell phone in the bedroom, wake up and kiss my husband, and then I take some time for me, usually on the mat, meditating and a little bit of movement, little yoga flow, and some tea to get started, and then I get started. But being able to refill my cup and take energy for myself before I help others is like the key for me to be my best every day.
Oh, I love it. Literally and figuratively, refilling that cup.
Absolutely. I love that she doesn't even keep her phone in the bedroom.
Agreed.
I think I'd panic. I'd be like, where's my phone? It's not within 2 feet of me.
Totally.
I know, but it's really taken a really hard move to like leave the cell phone out of the room, and it's helped us connect way more as a couple and really just feel better about my day. Emails and Instagram can wait.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm glad you do. Thank you so much for being here. REINA is with us today, hailing all the way from Fabfitfun. How are you this morning?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Thanks for having me here.
Well, she is spot on bread. She is fab, she is fit, and she is fun.
Girl.
So how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
So my morning routine, I do check that phone when I wake up, unfortunately, but I am out the door, so I definitely hit 8 a.m. Like for me, I need to work out before I get into the office so that I can be 100% for my team. I like to live a full day before getting in there. So I traditionally, like I wake up, it's usually either for a 6 a.m. class or a 7 a.m. class, and then I'm grab my coffee, walk my 2 little Yorkies, and then I'm into the office. And then they come with me. So that's pretty consistent Monday through Friday for me.
I love it. What are your Yorkies' names?
My Yorkie's name, so if you do eat Indian food, aloo and aloo gobi is a very famous Indian dish. So one is aloo and one is gobi, which translates to in Hindi potato and cauliflower, very strange. But they're really adorable. They're 10 and 11. They're the light of my life. But yeah,
Love it. Delicious little ones.
Yeah, and then meditation is absolutely important to me, but for me, I do get my meditation in before I sleep. So every single evening, I do a sleep meditation where I'm then unwinding and then don't do the cell phone after 10. So, yeah.
After
Awesome.
10.
Yeah. Well, we're so excited that you're here. Sarah Mail is in the house. She is the host of the podcast, Big Kid Problems. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, welcome back. I recently saw an interview with Ren Woods.
Yes, I was here. I was in studio, so it's good to be back.
Absolutely. One of my favorite memes or posts ever I saw was from her Instagram account. It says, "Does running out of money burn calories?"
That's awesome.
Right? I wish it did. I really wish it did.
I knew I was going to like you. So Sarah, tell us, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
So my morning routine has evolved because it used to be, sleeping in, jumping out of bed, and running to work as soon as possible, realizing I was already late. So I've tried to get better with that. I'll usually start with a couple minutes of puppy cuddles because I have a new puppy. And then I've realized cold showers will help wake me up out of my funk. So I'll jump in a cold shower for a couple seconds, and then I try and do a little bit of writing in the morning because I try and get my brain processing. So I started a journaling practice a couple months ago that I love doing.
Love it. What are your puppies' names?
My puppy's name is Tucker. He's the good boy Tucker on Instagram. He has an Instagram,
Oh,
but he's
my goodness.
actually
Of
a
course
very
he does.
bad boy. So I kind of mess things up with that.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for sharing all of your big kid problems with us. And for the Trailblazers team today, we're looking forward to continuing the conversation later in the show.
Do you guys actually keep your phone by your bed?
No.
No.
Seriously? Oh, absolutely.
I would never.
Half the time it's under my pillow.
Oh my
Oh my goodness. You cuddle with it?
Can't do that. There's got the EMFs that are coming straight.
Well, yeah, totally. But I do turn it on airplane mode. But everybody needs an alarm, right? And I don't have a clock, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, so I have a phone.
Probably a good cuddle buddy. It doesn't move around a lot.
No. And honestly, I'm not a good sleeper. So then when I wake up in the night, I can check, the emails, the DMs. I can read my horoscope and try and figure out why I can't sleep at night. All the things.
I love it. That's hilarious.
I stopped
Jess.
sleeping in with it by my bed a good 10 years ago because I remember reading about the EMFs and there's certain feet it gets less and less. So I do have it in my room, but on the total opposite side.
Yeah,
So it's a
yeah.
good 15, 20 feet away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it far enough away that you're not incentivized to actually reach for it.
I would never reach for it in the middle of the night.
yeah.
Yeah, and I used to do that sometimes when I get up in the and go to the bathroom. I check it, and I never do that either.
Yeah.
No, it's not good.
She just turns it on to make her bed in the morning.
Exactly.
That's Dr. Erin on your Insta stories. She'll, tuck in and then get up and turn it off.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I love that actually. I was talking to my brother about that. I was like, wow, I love that Erin actually Insta stories her nap. 'Cause I think it's just right. It's awesome. It's like encouragement for the rest of us to.
Sometimes I get into
get a little extra
vlogging. I haven't
R&R.
been on that vlogging thing very much the last
gonna take a break.
week or two. Got to go ebb and flow though, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's going on? It's almost the weekend.
It
You're
is
not going
almost
to be
the
here
weekend.
tomorrow.
I won't be here tomorrow, but Candy Memmy will be filling
Yep,
in. Thank God for Candy Memmy.
We love
her so
Candy
much.
Memmy.
We do love
Exactly.
Tanya. Well, I'm excited to announce a recent collaboration. I'm working with Speechless. They're fun, flirty, totally fierce clothing for on the go or a night out. This is Speechless. Hashtag leave them speechless. So thank you guys so much for always including me in your community.
So
Fantastic.
cute,
I
so
know,
cute.
right?
Well,
Thank you.
on this Thought Thursday, I was thinking, so a dear friend of ours, Ashley Stahl, just released. She got released her TED Talk yesterday. So it's called. It's sorry, I want to make sure I get it right. It's how to figure out what you really want. So she starts her TED Talk. It's quite disturbing. It was a true story. Her father was in Los Angeles. It was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the phone rings. And it's a heavy voice on the other side, and they're like, "We have your daughter, and if you don't listen to every word we say, we're going to kill her." And there's literally a girl in the background screaming. And they, go through this whole thing. They have him go down to his bank to transfer wire funds so that they won't kill her. Meanwhile, Ashley Stahl is in her office recording a podcast. It's not. They don't have
It's a
her.
scam.
It's a scam. And luckily he had passed a note to his wife saying, "Go call the cops." And meanwhile, the cops told him before he was wired his entire life savings. But the point is that Ashley Stahl, she's looking at the whole thing. She's never seen her dad so shooken up in her entire life. She's completely moved by the entire thing, and she starts really thinking about it. And she goes, "What would have people do that? What would have people stoop to that level and want to scare people and have people take their life savings?" And she goes, "It's all they know." It's really all they know. And so the point is that she started thinking about, for all of us, where are we held captive by our own thoughts and our own construct of what we think we're able to do, or how we need to make money, or how we need to love, or whatever.
That's profound.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, what are those
That's so much
things for you
scarier than the
guys?
kidnapping story I had in LA. I had a kidnapping story.
You did?
Yeah.
What
I did.
happened?
What?
My brother came out to visit one weekend, and this was years ago. He came out to visit one weekend, and we went to a club. We were hanging out, and this girl says, "Hey, you want to come home with me?" And I just met her.
You're like, "Yeah."
And I was like, no. I was definitely like, no. I was like, great. Thanks for the compliment. Super awesome. And I'm gonna hang out with my brother. He's in town. And so then the night goes on. At some point, it gets late, and my brother and I are about to leave. And then she says, "Hey, can you walk me into my car?" And I'm like, "Sure." Like, how far is it? She's like, "Oh, just a block or two." Next thing I know, it's like 10 blocks. So then she's like, "Well, I didn't realize it was so far. I'll just drop you back off of the club. Would you mind getting inside, and I'll give you a ride?" I was like, "Oh, that'd be nice of you." Fine. I get inside the car, zips off in the opposite direction,
You're
down the
kidding me.
highway, downtown LA. We went between these gates, between these gates, barbed wire. Yeah, and I couldn't get. So then at some point, of course, so I get in there, and it's a whole thing. And I get in there, and I'm like, I gotta get out of here. So I go to the bathroom. I escape down the exit, run down the steps, and I get to the gate, and I'm like, oh no, how am I gonna get? It's a 20-foot fence with barbed wire at the top.
You're kidding.
No, and I was like, wow, this is part of the challenge and opportunity of living in LA. Is you never know what's gonna happen.
Wow.
But it brings you back to what you're saying, Erin, which is that we all have ideas and opinions and beliefs and thoughts that keep us captive, hold us captive, and we think that's the only way we can accomplish X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, it's
right?
really fascinating. So like, because that's all they know. Like, why would you want to kidnap? I mean, like, I can get why you could want to kidnap.
I mean, who doesn't get that?
But I mean, but why? What has you believe that this is the only way that you'd have love or get money or whatever it is? And we all have those. We just don't know what we don't know.
Totally. That's
Until
exactly
we
right.
know.
Yeah.
Until you do the work, the subconscious work that you guys are always talking about. I've recently been working with a shaman, and we've been doing a lot of work, if you will. And what I realized is that I was trapped by the seeming security of instability. It's all I ever knew or thought I knew. And the ideas around that. And I thought, now I can believe of all these things and all this abundance, but really I was handcuffed to what I believed, to the program, the conversation I was born into.
Man, that's so powerful, Jess. One of my favorite quotes, I think it's Mark Twain, he said, "It's not what you don't know that gets you in trouble, it's what you do know that just ain't so." And that's just so true, right?
So
like we're
true.
blind to our blind spots.
Right. And that's whole Ashley Stahl's entire point. She's a career coach, and so I highly recommend watching the TED Talk. And she talks about that, basically like, where are you being stuck? She's a podcast called U-Turn, Y-O-U. It's your turn. And really getting to that place where you go, you know what is it going to take for me to feel like I'm, releasing myself, freedom to the world, and living what you want to live in this lifetime.
Absolutely. What would you say, Erin, has allowed you to experience the most freedom?
You're
But I'm interested. I think all our audience is
I mean,
interested.
obviously, for sure, subconscious work, because I think that we don't know what we don't know, and it's always the commands and the trauma and things that are holding us back. We don't realize that we put those limiting beliefs in. Anything can happen out in the world, but we have to buy into that belief. We have to reaffirm that into our subconscious mind. So for sure, subconscious work.
Absolutely.
No question about it.
Anything that's worked for you, Jess?
I'm still figuring it out. I just realized I recreated what I've experienced, years and years back, and I just made it look a whole lot better.
But you do make it look good. I will give you credit for
In
that.
a few months, and I'll let you know how it's going.
That's
Touche.
true. I love that.
Check out with our guest, I guess.
I love that for sure. So let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Thought Thursday, how our guests are using their thinking for good. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to your home for talk. I'm GMLA, and this is Ever Talk TV, America's first live streaming video talk show platform. This week on Ever Talk, our shows were filled with positivity, enlightenment, insta fame, insta scandals, and binge-worthy conversations. Let's take a look.
Today's guest dislikes titles. Although he is an amazing, talented actor and a real-life Viking, he prefers to be valued by how many belly laughs he can get you to have in the shortest amount of time.
Hi everyone, I'm Erin Ziering, and this is the Housewives of Hollywood. You might think you know the Housewives, but it's not rosé all day, Pilates, and finding the best nannies. It's women supporting women, and today I have a very special guest, and we might have to change the name just to Housewives of Beverly Hills for Tori Spelling. Tori. Thank you so much for coming on. Oh my gosh, anything for you.
We kind of like having her here.
Yeah, she's like, so much good morning, LaLa. We've got things to do.
room to your set today.
That's right.
I love that.
So tell us about the proper way to actually taste this wine.
Put it in your mouth.
I love you. That's my kind of winemaker.
LOL. As you can see, we have a lot of fun here at EverTalk TV, and I'm so excited to share this journey experience with you. Visit evertalktv.com for your free 30-day subscription. EverTalk TV, anytime, anywhere.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm GMLA, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
We all crave connection.
I'm a big fan of videoing a podcast.
The impact that I'm having people on a podcast is I'm having more impact on those people than I ever did in news.
We want to be heard, but we also need to listen.
Podcasts. I understand they are red hot.
It's actually remarkable how scary to me podcasting is. Everybody should have a podcast.
I really wondered why. I mean, we've been doing this for 12 years. Nobody has done this in other arenas.
We have to change the conversation to happiness over financial success. It was like, we have to. We have to.
Honestly, it was meeting new people who had already heard about what we have done and thanking me for the contribution we're making to their lives.
Oh,
And I thought,
nice. That's
this
great.
is what my purpose is. This is why I was born.
Yeah.
I think this is my first time my book's been up on TV. This is awesome.
Thank you guys so much for watching. You can always find these videos and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Entertainment that will inspire, uplift, and empower you. Anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
Welcome back to Good Morning, LaLa. On today, Thought Thursday, we know that we have to have some mental clarity or else we ain't going to go so far. So we're talking all things around supplements, nutrition, everything to make our life better and more lives. We have SISUN Lee in the house from Toronto. Welcome to LaLa Land.
Thanks for having me. And apparently a Raptors fan. So.
Oh, yes. Big Raptors fan.
Yes, go Raptors.
So tell us about your brand, first of all.
Yeah, so More Labs is biohacking supplement company. You know, that's what we call ourselves internally. And what
It's all about the hack.
It's all about the hack. And what we do is we build science-backed products to combat modern-day stressors, things that slow you down. So things like fatigue, dehydration.
Traffic?
Oh, cool. Erin, you beat me to the punch on that one.
Things related to your body that we can just help you overcome so that you can feel your best and do the things that you love to do.
So this liquid focus, what actually is in it that's going to help give me the clarity that I'm so desperately craving?
Yeah, so Liquid Focus is our new product that we just announced. There's not one hero ingredient. There's a series of different stacks that we call it. But the biggest thing is the way we mimicked it was very different than a typical caffeinated or energy drinks. We've actually looked at prescription drugs, more similar to things like Adderall, just to understand how it works, how it helps you focus your brain, and then in order to sort of take that and figure out how can we make something similar in a very safe manner. And so, for example, some of the key ingredients that we have is things like the precursor to your dopamine. And so things that when you consume it in a safe way, it helps you produce more of a natural version of your dopamine, which is very, very important for you to stay focused.
So what does it mean to be natural? Because natural, they say, doesn't mean anything in branding. It's not regulated.
Not synthetic, so things that are based on natural food. So per FDA regulations, things that has GRAS approval, and GRAS stands for generally regarded as safe. So nothing that we make is synthetic or a drug. And also these are what we call precursors. So if we want to help you produce more neurotransmitters,
one way is to simply force it, which is how drugs work like Adderall.
Mhm.
But a precursor is something that you consume that eventually turns into the actual product.
I would imagine you consumed a lot of liquid focus and morning recovery to become the successful CEO that you are. Tell us about your journey as an entrepreneur.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think the journey for More Labs has been very, very serendipitous in the early days because my background is actually in tech. So I was engineering by training, and I came to the Silicon Valley to start my career as a product manager at Facebook. Eventually went to Uber to launch their product in Southeast Asia. And then my last job was to build a digital growth team at Tesla. So in many ways, it has very little to do with supplements. I think the way this got started is actually a funny story. So my background is I was born in South Korea, and most people don't know this, but South Koreans consume the most amount of liquor per capita.
Really?
14 shots.
No, I need to keep that in mind when I go visit. They're gonna drink me under the table.
Yeah, there's like a pretty dangerous, but I think it's hilarious stat done by a World Health Organization every year. And it looks at hard liquor consumption per capita per country. And South Korea has been #1 for the past a decade or two.
That's amazing.
Wow. 14 shots of liquor per week.
14 shots?
What?
Yeah, so it's
per person.
It's pretty crazy. And so, I mean, this is not something that I knew, but when I visited South Korea as an adult for the first time, because I grew up in majority of my life in Canada, just wanted to experience sort of the motherland where my parents came from. One thing that I realized was everyone just drinks. And I also just ended up drinking every night. And as part of that process, what was also interesting was that there was this giant industry for recovery for the next day.
Oh, really?
Because people consume so much alcohol as part of their sort of social fabric. And I think in many ways that started the curiosity. Now, it wasn't like I tried it and all of a sudden I wanted to sell something similar. I was still working full-time at Tesla. Tech was my passion. But I think that was sort of what was ingrained in the back of my head in terms of, this is kind of cool. Like, there's a way to hack the system. When something happens to your body in a negative way, it's because there's some external input. Something happens in your body, and then there's an outcome. But once you understand how to sort of process that, you can also revert it. And so I think that kind of started the whole process of learning more about how these products work, which is how we came to the birth of Morning Recovery, which is our own version of a product that does very similar things. But I got super lucky because along the way, I met one of our many co-founders, including Dr. Liang at USC, who was actually studying a flavonoid called DHM, which happens to be the main ingredient in Morning Recovery. And so when we started working together, we started producing the samples. There's a long, hilarious months of cycle where you can imagine we're just testing this in the name of science, going out.
Yeah, margaritas in the name of science.
I have a real geeky, no one will probably even relate to this, but I'm obsessed with the mitochondria because my father's a naturopath, and just knowing that all of it's like to repair the mitochondria is like the holy grail right now. And so many things.
It produces ATP.
Anything that you guys are stumbling upon that's really intriguing to you?
Nothing specific right now that's directly to mitochondria. So, I can't say.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just have some more liquor and have a perfect.
Well, I'm really curious as to the mindset in the community that's contributed to your success. And clearly, you've got an incredible community that you've listed here in this book.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think, that's why I say in the early days, it was all about, sort of the serendipity of kind of this journey and starting with an iteration. But along the way, the reason why we got to where we are today from a very fun project was because of the community. When we first launched our product in Silicon Valley, as you can imagine, very typical demographics, people like me in tech, but it just expanded super quickly. And we started to build our products with our community. And I'll give you 2 examples. One was about a year into our company, we just simply asked our customers, what else can we build for you? What slows you down in terms of your productivity? And the 3 things that came up that were clear winners were things to fight brain fog, sort of your 3 p.m., 4 p.m. brain fog when you have to focus. And because the alternative solutions like caffeine and energy drinks simply weren't working for them sufficiently. Poor sleep or lack of sleep, and then anxiety and stress. And so, in many ways, I think the biggest thing for the company is to have a robust roadmap of what is my strategy, what do I have to build, but in many ways, our customers tell us what we have to do.
Brilliant.
And so that's kind of how we started.
The community here in this book.
Yeah, so what's funny is that, we're a wellness brand, right? We're not a publisher, but our mission is to help you do your best, be your best, and do more of what you love. And so what was interesting is, as we were building our products with our community, we realized that just within our close network of friends, customers, and business partners, we were already engaging with people that embodied that mission. Just people that love to do what they love, to do more of what they love, continuously push themselves. And we just thought, even though we have no experience publishing a book, it would be amazing to garner their stories and just share it more widely.
You know who should be in that book who's not? Is Kobe Bryant. But then you have to rename it Lakers. The reason why this morning, here's why. This morning, I'm listening to this interview with Kobe Bryant, and essentially he said players would sometimes invite him, new players, rookies would invite him out to drink maybe the night before a game. And so he would say, oh yeah, let's definitely do that. He'd go out before the game or before practice, and then the next morning he'd get up extra early and say, let's go. And then he'd go to practice or for the game, and he would completely annihilate them in practice so that they would never do it again. But what's fascinating to me is that he was able to recover so quickly. It's like he was using liquid focus every day.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I'll have whatever he's having.
Yeah, totally.
Well, thank you, SISUN, for your contribution in creating this incredible community. We're so excited to feature them on the show today. But before we go to commercial, please tell everyone where they can get your product and find and follow your journey.
Yeah, the best way is to go to our website at morelabs.com. For morning recovery specifically, we're also available in all of 7-Eleven across California.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm GMLA, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
We all crave connection. I'm a big fan of videoing a podcast.
The impact that I'm having people on a podcast is I'm having more impact on those people than I ever did in news.
We want to be heard, but we also need to listen.
Podcasts. I understand they are red hot.
It's actually remarkable how scary to me podcasting is. Everybody should have a podcast.
I really wondered why. I mean, we've been doing this for 12 years. Nobody has done this in other arenas.
We have to change the conversation to happiness over financial success. It was like, we have to. We have to.
Honestly, it was meeting new people who had already heard about what we have done and thanking me for the contribution we're making to their lives.
Oh, nice. That's
this
great.
is what my purpose is. This is why I was born.
Yeah.
I think this is my first time my book's been up on TV. This is awesome.
Thank you guys so much for watching. You can always find these videos and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Entertainment that will inspire, uplift, and empower you. Anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
Continuing to trailblaze on this hashtag Thought Thursday, REINA Govindarajan is in the house from Fabfitfun. Thank you for being with us today.
Super excited to be here.
Yeah, so tell the people out there what Fabfitfun is, because not everybody knows, and it's a huge platform.
It's a huge platform. So Fabfitfun is a 360-degree lifestyle membership for women. We do have some men, and we're best known for our subscription box. Right, but so we do have Fabfitfun TV. We have on-demand fitness content that you can log into, anything from Jillian Michaels to Venus Williams, cooking content from Giada De Laurentiis. Then there's the subscription box. Then there's our e-commerce angle as well, where we do have we have a shop that's open 365 days a year. We have flash sales. So we really do try to offer women a full lifestyle experience.
And what's your role with Fabfitfun?
So I am the head of member e-commerce for Fabfitfun. So essentially, I work with all of our brand partners across all of the categories that are represented in the box, from fashion, fitness, home, tech, lifestyle, beauty, to then, again, help to complete that experience, right? There are things that you can't necessarily put into a box, let's say like a yoga mat, or, although I think we might have figured that one out, or a couch, right? But there are things that we believe our women should have access to, and we, and through e-commerce, I'm allowed, I have the freedom to bring that whole story to life.
And you also help tell the story on Facebook.
And I help tell the story on Facebook. Yes, during all of our e-commerce flash sales, we do a live HSN QVC segment, and I happen to host a lot of that, so doing things like this.
So tell us, so everyone wants to be Fabfitfun, let's face it, they want all that. What would you say is the biggest takeaway? You've been doing this now, you've seen so many things, lifestyle, everything. What would you say is the key to being Fabfitfun?
You know, so I think one thing that I just love about Fabfitfun is our Fabfitfun community. We have a very devoted community of women that share stories constantly, and I fundamentally believe that transformation happens, personal transformation happens by sharing your story and sharing that story with other people and then hearing their responses. And so I think the true heart of Fabfitfun is that community. So outside of the box, right, which is bringing everyone joy every day. I mean, the Fabfitfun girl, she's just such an awesome woman, right? She's someone that works hard. She's a working mom. She's a young woman with liquid income. She is gifting herself. This box is all about celebrating herself, and she fundamentally believes in doing that. And then through our community, she shares her stories. She shares her challenges. You know, we have women that write in when their houses get flooded and look to the community for support, or their husband passes away. They're going through postpartum depression, and then they literally rally around each other and form these really awesome support networks. And I think that's the core of being fab and fit and fun. It's like being open and honest and loving yourself and celebrating yourself and doing things that really bring you joy.
Wow. So is it the personal stories that have surprised you most about working with?
Absolutely. I'm someone, so I went to business school, and then after business school, I actually went to business school thinking I was going to go into social entrepreneurship. I do a lot in fundraising. For Fabfitfun, actually, I head up the charity partnership, so every single box does support a charity. And so, I thought that's what I was going to do. And then I said, you know what? After going to business school, I realized that I could affect the nonprofit sector more, piggybacking on my years of experience in fashion and going into where tech meets fashion, right? So now I've got this huge platform. We're shipping our boxes out to over 2 million women. Wow. And now what is the story I can tell? What is the impact I can make for the nonprofits that we're partnering with, right? So it's just,
how fun.
It's just fulfilling.
So share with us a little bit about the nonprofits you choose to support with Fabfitfun.
Yeah, so we do go into the community and we do ask, we say, like, what are causes that really inspire you? And then, ourselves as a team, there are so many different charities that we do. One of the greatest partnerships actually that we've done to date, which I think was the most impactful, was the partnership that we did with Joyful Heart, which is Mariska Hargitay's organization. So it helps women and children that have been victims of domestic violence or sexual abuse. We seeded a product in the box that was in honor of that charity and then educated over 2 million women about that charity project. So we basically gave all of these women access to the tools that would help them to get out of that situation. The response was mind-blowing. It goes way beyond the box or any product that we could ever give you. And so in that sense, yes, to answer your question, it's like that has been the most mind-blowing thing, is that, like, in doing something in fashion and beauty and having all this fun on a daily basis, like, we can truly give back. And I know that we are making an impact because the stories that are being shared are impactful.
We can have it all.
Yeah.
That's what we want, right?
Yeah, truly.
Amazing.
So take me back in your personal journey, though, to when you made the decision, okay, I'm leaving fashion, I'm doing this business, I'm going to transform my life by sharing your story. What was that moment for you? Was it a big aha? Was there an awakening?
For me, I've always been an ambitious person. And, I was living in New York. It was 2008, 2009. The economy tanked. I was a really young person in the fashion industry. I looked at my career trajectory and I'm like, there is more for me to do. There is much more than what I'm doing on this daily basis. And that's when I had that moment and I said, I am not going to fear not being what I truly have always dreamed myself to be. That's when I decided to just stop everything, start studying for the GMAT, go to business school, figure it out. And for me, I was also someone that just I had to pay for it. I'm still paying for it myself. My education, and so I then just said, if I'm going to pay for this, I'm going to take up every single opportunity that business, whether it was doing a special program or trying out for a special course or even trying out for the talent show, I was like, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna get everything, I'm gonna be fearless, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna transition into tech. And this is kind of where I've seen myself, and this is where I am today.
Congratulations. That was an investment well made because you were literally changing millions of women's lives.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I also do that. Something that's really important to me. I have a 100% female team at Fabfitfun. A lot of young, incredible women. I do not manage them. I mentor them on a daily basis, and I hope for all of them. I work with them so closely to make sure that each one of them are like hitting those goals and are going to achieve hopefully more than me in any lifetime that I live.
It's so cool. Yeah. You're very inspiring, and we, Good Morning LaLa is not just about LA, it's about the mindset of the dreamers and the doers, and we teach a lot about universal law, and it sounds like you're really in alignment with you just getting the flow, you're giving, you're serving, you're mentoring, and that's where the magic happens. So thanks so much for delivering that in such a great brand for everybody. So fun. I love that.
Please tell everyone how they can contribute to you, your causes, Fabfitfun, and follow your journey.
You can go to fabfitfun.com and you can sign up for the subscription box. I have to tell you, I know that we are doing great things with that box. So my mom is actually a Western medicine doctor. My sister is an Eastern medicine doctor. The two of them, it's oil and water a lot of times because one's telling you to take antibiotics, the other one's telling you to take turmeric. And Fabfitfun does an incredible thing. Every employee does have a box that comes to their house. And it was a few years ago. I had a box shipped home to the house. It's a ritual. I let my mom open the box, and I open it with her, and I open it with my sister. And both of them opened the box, and they're like two little Tasmanian devils. They wanted to share everything and have everything, and I just said, wow. I took a step back and I said, wow, like this box is really a box that has something for everyone. And I just loved how much joy it brought both of them in that moment. And then, the products are all full size, so you get a long time to enjoy them too. And I just know that we are doing something great. So it's a great gift for yourself. Treat yourself. Everyone should treat themselves. For your friends, etc.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
So I went to rehab the first time in 1999. I was 18 years old. I mean, all I got was rehab every single summer from my other choices.
Times?
I think it was between 8 and 10. I'm not sure because I don't count one of them because I left after 10 days. Kids were saying to me, the second I leave, I'm gonna have a drink.
Right.
I'm never gonna go to a party again. I'm 20 years old. So it was kind of that moment when I was sitting there going, I need to help these kids because I went back 10 times for a reason, because it clearly wasn't working.
Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa. There's nothing better than a little fashion to get our mind right on a day like this. Melissa Chantain is in the house, style expert extraordinary, helping people find their confidence and all the above. You're looking fab today, speaking of.
Thank you. Nice to see you guys. This is really fun.
So clearly, you chose this outfit for a reason.
Power red. You have to go with power red and the power lip. Choosing colors that resonate with you, help you elevate your style and confidence is what I'm all about.
So why did you make this such a personal journey?
Well, actually, I started in celebrity styling, and I felt like there wasn't really a purpose. You put together a beautiful editorial. As a stylist, you're an image maker, but there had to be more. And my sister, at the time, was struggling with bipolar depression in college, and she took her life in 2010, and it rocked my world. Everything stopped, and I no longer felt a connection to celebrity styling, and I felt, if my sister in my own house could not love herself, other women are going through this struggle, especially at the time and around that time when everyone was super skinny and body positive wasn't really out there. And I knew I had to make an impact through style with purpose, and that's when I changed my mission.
Wow. I'm so sorry you went through that.
Thank you. But when these things happen, sometimes you think you've been buried and you've been planted. And honestly, I feel like if that didn't happen to me, I wouldn't be sitting with you today.
Of course.
Yeah, it's just profound to me. I think we all share deep appreciation for mental health, right? Mental wellness. And I wonder, what did you do next? When you're sort of working your way through that period of time and you had this really great idea to start this brand, what steps did you take to get there?
Well, actually, I needed a break from fashion. I went back into the corporate world. I started my career in corporate healthcare, marketing for assisted living. And I went back to that safe space because I felt like I needed a break from style. But I knew that I had to plant the seeds and start building. And I think it's just been a natural trajectory where real women, real men and women want to feel confident through style. And how is that? It's all about style confidence. And it's just having the conversation and being available to people. How do you put yourself together? And then slowly that's grown.
But how does one actually begin to do that, to put themselves together from the inside out?
It's all about, believe it or not, all about self-love, all about those daily rituals that you do, how you start your day. It's really planting the seeds for how you want to show up in the world. So I took it as a step back. If I want to help others, I have to fix myself and heal. So it was a lot about personal motivation, finding your why, and obviously finding my why is helping other people.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's great because, look, our brands are, we want to wear our brands, our colors are how we feel. You're in Power Red today. So give us some tricks and hacks and tips of what we can do to take our truth, our message into our clothing.
Well, really, finding your style confidence is all about looking at how you want to present yourself, looking at your lifestyle, your mission, and what resonates
They
with
have
you.
it down. I don't.
Yes, you do. You always love fantastic, Erin.
What is your lifestyle? Is someone that's a 9-to-5er? Are they up and out in a corporate attire? And how do they want to present themselves? What colors resonate with them? So it's really dressing for your lifestyle and dressing for what makes you feel good. It's really that.
Flats.
Well, I love flats, or I love a wedge. But the other thing that I think people forget, there's this thought of having to dress for your body type. How many of you have heard? I mean, every woman out there, every man has heard that. And I really take that out and say, why don't you dress for your assets? Dress for what you love about your body, because it takes that pain away, that pain point away from being like, I'm not skinny enough, or I'm not thin enough to wear this or that, and just highlighting your legs, highlighting your décolletage, like whatever makes you feel amazing, that's what you should highlight when you dress.
I love that. I also love the idea, I work with some executives and they're always wanting to enhance their executive presence. And some of them might be, perceived as overly assertive, so they use fashion to dial up the warmth. Or the opposite might be true. They might come across or be perceived as very soft, and so they use dress and fashion to dial up their assertiveness and confidence.
Totally.
Right? So can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because I think that's really helpful too, is that you can also dial things up that you want to express more fully that people might not perceive.
Of course. I mean, especially in the political segment, power colors, like a power red or power blue, or if you want to blend in a little bit and come off softer, maybe wearing darker colors. But it's all about perception, truly, and the colors that you select, and the fits, and what works best for you.
Yeah, that's one thing I did discover as a guy, like it was all about the fit. Right, like a blazer. Like I would buy a blazer, and I'm like, why does it look the way on me that it did on this other person? And
it's tailoring.
Yes.
Honestly, if anyone you can buy a $80 blazer from ASOS or something, or from Walmart, and get that tailored. It'll make you look like $1 million.
Wow.
I'm really curious to your mindset of making what you're loving so much, your passion and your art, which is fashion, into a business.
I mean, yes, I know that sounds like it's a strange thing, but the things that I do, I really work with a lot of men and women with group coaching. I work with brands like The Art of Charm and helping them when they have their cohorts.
We had those guys on here.
I love them.
Yes.
Working with their group when they come in, when their clients come to Los Angeles, how are they presenting themselves? I usually work with clients there, and personal styling. I mean, really, it's my brand, and working with me is for the individual that's ready to up-level their life and pay attention to how they're presenting themselves and how they want to feel. So it's not for everyone, but I've been thankful to start some group programs for coaching, and you can find me on Makeover Mondays on Access Live as well, and that's more of like a transformational,
I love that.
because it's helping people start from base up.
Yes, we love the folks over there at Access.
We love it. So tell everyone where they can find and follow your personal journey or work with you.
Yes, they can find me at melissachataigne.com, and then catch me on Mondays on Access, and then through my website at melissachataigne.com or Instagram at Chataigne Style. They can learn more about my styling programs, my coaching programs. Right now I have a 21-day challenge, Style Confidence Challenge, that you can join. It's free, but really it takes 21 days to start a habit. So take the journey with me.
Love that.
It'll be
So
good.
fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back with more. Good morning, La La Land.
Better make me look good, Andy.
Guys,
I'm a witch. And I was like, I'm a witch. I can't see you.
Yeah, we need to.
We look amazing. That's all you
You
need
do?
to know.
Terrific.
I call myself different things all the time.
Oh my
Alchemist, witch, creativity coach. Like, what is it really?
Can I call you a witch?
Yeah, and this is witch, Lauren
Yeah.
Wallet.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, house witch.
Why not? Do you want to make CEO into a show? No, that we spin off from here? Yeah.
This is birthday girl Anna David. And what she does is irrelevant because who she is what matters.
Do whatever you want. Who she are, don't say that.
Yeah, Andy, that's what you get for not having coffee with us.
Yeah.
Everything comes down to what you do.
Do save it for the camera. Unless you're shooting bloopers, in which case it's okay.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. If you have got big kid problems, well, we do too. We have the host of the podcast, Big Kid Problems, Sarah Merrill, with us today. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
So tell us a little bit about your journey to starting this conversation, Big Kid Problems.
Yeah, so Big Kid Problems is basically a funny social media channel for anybody who hasn't heard of it. And I started it in college. I was getting ready to graduate, not really like wanting to join the adult workforce, not really understanding all of the responsibilities that came with the transition of adulting. So I just started putting funny jokes out there on Twitter, moved it over to Instagram. It started to, kind of take on a life's own. I did it anonymously for years. I was so scared I was going to get in trouble for the things I was saying. But I just kept doing it. And then eventually it just got so popular that I started to turn it into a little bit of a business. I left my corporate job a couple years ago and have just kind of evolved into more of a platform.
But that's a huge leap of faith, right?
Oh, yeah.
Leave the corporate stability and really come out of the closet as this big kid with problems.
Yes, for sure. It's definitely been a journey, to say the least. I did a lot of things before taking that leap. I tried to be as responsible as I could. I saved up. I made sure that I had a lot of revenue streams in the work, so I didn't just kind of jump off and say, okay, now let me make it work. I did the adult.
But you're highly talented. I mean, your Instagram page is straight up, genius. You're very
Thank
talented
you.
with your branding and the comedy. You've had Sarah Ann Stewart, who's a dear friend of mine, on your show as well. So when they come to your podcast, what's the conversation? What are they going into?
Well, I really, I've wanted to do the podcast for a long time, and that's really taking what Big Kid Problems was and taking it to the next level. Because I've been making jokes about the struggles of adulting, and the podcast was really we're gonna joke about this, but we're also gonna try and solve these big kid problems. So when Sarah came on to the pod, she was actually an expert that was saying okay, here's the big kid problem that we have. I'm gonna help you give tools and actual resources to help solve this. So now it's kind of taken on a whole new life of its own, where we're actually not just laughing about it, we're helping people actually solve some of the issues they're struggling with.
She deals a lot with body image, so you would deal with that's a big kid problem.
Yes.
All of the different things. Okay, got it. So,
What are some examples of these big kid problems that you're dealing with?
So when I think of a big kid problem, I kind of like to stay in a similar lane. So I'll talk about money struggles, because that's a big thing.
That's adulting.
That is
to the
adulting
max.
for sure. Relationships, being single, being in a relationship. All the good things that come with that, work stuff. So, maybe you don't know what your dream job is. Maybe you don't like your boss. These are similar themes that I see kind of across the board with people in their 20s, 30s going through that transition of adulting. And then, of course, your typical, stuff of coming into adulthood, making bad decisions, maybe drinking too much, being hungover, all the good things that come with kind of growing into yourself as an adult.
Have you discovered any lessons that repeat themselves over and over again that you have learned and now share with people?
Wow.
Yes.
My therapist would tell you yes. We have patterns. But I've seen a lot of, the same things, especially when it comes to relationships. And as my brand has evolved, I was just taking a look at my season 2 of the podcast, and I was looking at the episodes we were doing, and I'm like, wow, we're doing a lot of relationship stuff. Because I feel like a lot of people, no matter how old you are, that is something that is consistent. Even if you're married, even if you're happily married, the relationship stuff always kind of, there's always work to be done there.
What are some of the lessons you've learned?
Some lessons I've learned. With relationships, how much time do you guys have? I really learned to, I'm in a pretty established relationship now, and one of the big things I've learned is kind of think less about what I want and more about like what my partner wants.
Yeah, what a concept.
What a concept. It's taking some time. He's probably watching this going,
Doozy, that's a doozy.
Serious adulting right there. What do you mean? You have needs too?
Yeah.
No, I have needs.
That is where adulting becomes overrated occasionally.
Definitely. But there's been a bunch. I mean, all across the board.
So who have been some of your mentors along the way?
So it's been interesting, especially being in like a social media space, which as an industry, it's so new. I mean, as a personal mentor, Sarah Blakely is like my hero. She's my alma mater. She went to the same college I did, and I just love seeing like power females who, have started their own businesses, who are just like, have that entrepreneurial spirit. And then I look at people on social media, and it's so cool, especially on social, because I feel like there's so many women in this space who are really achieving incredible things and who have turned this industry into like for themselves. So I'm inspired constantly when I see other people on social, even though they're not in the comedy space, maybe they're in health, maybe they're in beauty, but they're all doing these incredible things and they're doing it themselves and paving the way for all of us. So it's been cool.
Like you.
Right?
I guess.
So where do you get your humor from? Come on, because you've got some talent there.
I don't know. To be honest, it's just kind of something that's always been within me. But if you knew, like if we were going out to drinks or dinner, like I'm not like overly comical, it's more of like an internal thing. Like
It's a running commentary that goes on while everybody else is.
Yeah, exactly. Like people when they meet me, they're like, "Tell us a joke." I'm like, it doesn't work that way.
Give me a glass of champagne and then I'm really funny.
That's true. That does help. Actually, it helps the creative process.
So what's next for you?
So I'm really, really focusing in on my podcast. Like I said, it's kind of, it's made this platform, which used to just be like fun and kind of a little bit lighthearted, and has really given me a lot more deeper meaning and purpose with my brand. So I'm really, really focused in. I'm working on my season 2 for the podcast, and that is taking up all my time right now. But I'm also trying to build the brand in all ways, working on my blog, working on my merchandise. I mean, it kind of goes across the board, and it's a lot of stuff. I'm doing a juggling act, but I just try and keep doing what I'm doing.
We'll keep it up. Any dream guests for the podcast? Any dream guests? Ideal.
Sarah Blakely, if you're listening.
All right.
Yeah, come on.
All right. I thought there might be more, but it's just that one.
Oh, how much time?
Do you have any secrets to this juggling act, staying balanced?
Yes, actually, with juggling, I try not to be too rigid with myself, because I listen to a lot of things. They're like, you have to be super organized and spend your time doing this, this, and this. And especially being in a creative space, I try and do that. But if I'm feeling really creative, we all know when we have those bursts of energy, like I'll sometimes sit down and I'll have like 20 jokes in me. So even if that time is allotted towards doing something else, I'll give myself space to really kind of hone my craft and do what I want to do in that moment and try and follow what my energy is telling me to focus on.
Well, it's a great brand.
Thank
Very
you so
impressive.
much.
It's really funny. I like it a lot. So
tell everyone where they can find and follow you and listen to your podcast.
Yeah, so you can find me all over social media, Big Kid Problems. People sometimes get confused with that. And I'm also on my personal social media, Sarah A. Merrill _. I have a blog, The Big Kid Problems, now the podcast, The Big Kid Problems Podcast. But if you check me out on Instagram, everything's pretty much linked there.
Yeah, nice.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa Land. We're live here from Los Angeles, and we have got a couch full of trailblazers today. And the question of the day that I have for each of these trailblazers is, if there's one thought, since it's Thought Thursday, if there's one thought that you would offer up as something that's helped you get through tough times or maybe succeed in your business or in your life, what would that one trailblazing thought be?
Oh wow, that's a
That's a good one.
Yeah.
We'll have to think about that.
Yeah.
I do share this with my my clients and followers, is that sometimes when you think you've been buried, you've actually been planted, but things don't happen to you. They happen for you to grow.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truly.
I would say one thing with me is sometimes life can be a little overwhelming, or you're not really sure what to do next. I always kind of say, just focus on taking one tiny step forward. If it's doing one thing that's going to help push you in the right direction, even if you don't know which direction you really want to go in, if you can just do small incremental changes, I think that's an easy way to not be overwhelmed by it.
Chunk it down.
I would say the universe has a plan, and we have to remember to surrender. And just surrender and know that it is going to work itself out.
How do you surrender and take action?
So I think they're actually two different things. I think surrender, right? So I want this promotion. Well, you can work towards that promotion, but the act of surrendering is just surrendering the idea that it has to happen now, and it has to happen today, and it has to happen in this cycle. Right.
Yeah.
So I
giving
think
up the attachment.
Yeah, it's giving up the attachment. I think that's actually helped me quite a bit in my career.
Love that. Really beautiful.
Love that.
You want some liquid focus?
Let me read this book quickly. Well, that's a tough one. I guess one thought that comes to my mind is this concept that done is better than perfect. You know, sometimes you're just so overwhelmed that things aren't working, you don't know where to start. But just the act of doing it and then iterating it is just much better when you're stuck. I think the other way to talk about it is there's this concept called just-in-time thinking, which is don't overthink it until you have the data that you need and then just act on it. When you don't, it paralyzes you because you don't have all the information that you need and you don't know if this is the right thing to do, where you're gonna waste your time. But I think just like most of the times, most of the things that are challenging is so ambiguous that it's impossible to predict if what you're gonna do is the actual right outcome.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to say, all right, let's
I love that.
let me try, and then see what happens.
You've described the way we started. Good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true, so true.
That is kind of the definition of trailblazing, in my opinion. How would you define it, SISUN?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it is. If you talk to, all these amazing people, a lot of the times it's like you never predicted what you were gonna do 5 years from now, anyways, right? most great things kind of just happened, and then there was an opportunity, and you acted on it. And so, there are obviously people out there that knew exactly what their path is from day one, maybe, but I think the majority of the cases, it's very serendipitous.
Yeah. But it's a good point. I always struggle with that because I thought that I need to see the whole staircase and not just the next step, but you really only need to see the next step.
But isn't that what makes fun? It wouldn't be fun if we knew exactly what was going to happen.
True.
Right?
That's true. It's like watching the same TV show 30,000 times in a row.
But you want to keep watching this same TV show.
Because every day is different. Because every episode is different.
I love, our guests are so profound. Like, you just answer that, you're like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden you bring in like this quote. Like it just happens to be that I just know this quote coming out and you poetically answer so masterfully. And I think that's the thing that we see over and over with successful people. I think the common denominator is everyone does believe that the universe has our back. Everyone does. This is common language now. It's not some mystical thing that used to be years back. It is part of the mindset of the entrepreneur. And I'm just so proud of all the amazing people that come on the show and entrepreneurs. And you guys are so extraordinary. And so thank you so much for all your work.
Thank you. All of the trailblazing. We are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All of these interviews are available as a podcast on iTunes, and the whole show is streaming on EverTalk TV on Apple TV and Roku.
We're waking up the world together. You guys have a beautiful Thought Thursday and have a divine day.
It's going to be a good morning, La La Land.